Shabbat, shalom, Shabbat, shalom, Shabbat, shalom. Hello there. How you doing? This is the Doug Rice Show. My name is Doug Rice. I want to thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. I do. I know it's been a while since I've done a live. And there is a reason. I'm just trying to survive, just trying to make it. Seeing how far I can take it. Everybody is well and blessed and highly favored. And I do appreciate you showing up, showing in, showing out. And now we're going to talk about what it's all about. Who knows? So, how's everybody doing? That's first and foremost. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody is staying as far from the fray as possible. I would hope that each and every one of you have the common sense to steer as clear from the excitement, from all that you hold as a threat. Because let me tell you something, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let me tell you. It's been a minute. I have been busy. As you know, I drive. I'm a cab driver. I drive for a living. I have stimulating and wonderful conversations with so many people, so many various people of all colors, creeds, association. And I never give up the opportunity to express my consternation. I never give up the chance to get into the conversational happenstance, let me tell you. And I've been in some wild conversations, especially these days as we look around and observe all of their ways. They are losing their minds, are they not? And Donald Trump, the foul, pedophilic, child rapist, and felonious, sexually assaulting individual, leads them all, does he not? He does. And today we're going to go into a topic that I think is important to cover because it is so prescient. It is so current. It is so now. It is right now. And it is in their face. It is facing them squarely. They see it. It's the reason they're losing their pale, pathetic minds. And let me tell you something, folks. If you are a proponent of the United States of America, if you are a Negro, particularly, having stumbled upon this live and you hold some dear sentiment to this place, I advise that you take your Negro self elsewhere. Now, if you are of Caucasian persuasion, you might learn something. But if you are a foundational Black American, the exit is to your right. It's also to your left. It's also behind you and in front of you, and you are invited to leave. Here's the reason I say that, foundational Americans, and you best believe I intend to hurt your funky little feelings today. I am not going to hold back in any way. I am going to say what I have to say, and it's not going to be pretty. Now, my ire is not directed at foundational Black Americans. My ire is directed at the topic at hand, the impending demise of America and its lives. That is the topic we broach today. Now, I've said this before. I'll say it again. I am not a minister. I have not that illustrious and lofty sentiment. I don't hold those credentials. I leave that to better Negroes, better than I, certainly better than I. And if you are looking for spiritual nourishment, I encourage you once and always to flow over to T.I. Ministries, Brother Yakoba, Brother Teyu, his brother. Can't tell the voices, different. Can't tell who's who. They give you spiritual nourishment. I also encourage you to check out Dante Fortson. He will give you spiritual encouragement. I will give you commentary. I'm going to give you opinions. I'm going to give you my outlook, my view. I'm going to try to give it to you as best as I can do. Try not to use too much profanity, but don't count on it. I also want to point out to Trina, who is in the chat room holding it down. And let me tell you something, folks. I've found if you get out of line, she will remove you from the chat room as she is so inclined. She takes no prisoners, timeouts, all that good stuff. Also, got a few other folks who support this effort. Antoine Anderson should be in the house somewhere. I shout out to him as well. Yes, these are brothers know that I have a story to tell. They've been around and with me from the inception to the beginning of this thing, and I've been started this particular effort back in 2020. I believe that's the day. I believe it was. January 6th, when these hillbillies lost their minds, the beginning of their end is when I began this effort. And now, today I fully intend to flux and flow into the knowledge that we know the impending demise of America and its lies. Folks, if you haven't had a chance to read the description of what we are about to delve into, make it your predilection to do so before we go there, because we're going there and we may not come back. I say that just as sure as I'm Black. So what are we looking at? What are we looking at? I mean, we're looking at the news, we're looking at the riots, we're looking at ICE agents shoot white women in the faces. Dear God, have they lost their places? And you know, as we look further into that incident, we see a pattern begin to emerge because right after she was shot, two others got the urge and they continue the escalation of the escalatory conduct. And it may soon culminate into a destructive construct. They are on a path, are they not? The hillbillies, the wild ones, these mountain men, these European rejects that have made up this country through force, through rape, through enslavement, through genocide. The descendants of these creatures, these cretins who reside within the United States, cannot abide anyone not like them, their sentiment, these crazed and angry men. They are on the warpath, are they not? And Donald Trump, the lead cretin, he has lost his goddamned mind, has he not? Well, he has, because he's ready to take everything. He's ready to confiscate and take everything. He's kidnapped presidents of other countries. He's invaded other countries, bombed their civilizations, if you will, put all sorts of hurt on their nations, and yet and still he promises to do more. He wants Greenland. He says he can't live without it. He can't do without it. He must have Greenland. Now, Greenland is a massive piece of land just above and to the right of us or the left of us. It is owned by the Netherlands, who 500 years ago sailed their ships to that shore and claimed that continent for their own. Seems like a similar tale we've heard told. Donald Trump said it doesn't matter that they sailed 500 years ago to the Netherlands until he wants that island. He wants Greenland. And it's just interesting to hear him say that it doesn't matter that ships sailed from the Netherlands to Greenland and took it. He doesn't care. He wants it. Well, we are neck deep into the impending demise of America and its lives. There's a quickening that happens here. And the end approaches fast, where the last will be first and the first will be last. Folks, look, if there's one being that fits the bill of what an antichrist might be, still, it's Donald J. Trump. He seems to be checking all the boxes. And as we know, they're as sly as foxes, aren't they? He's had a head wound that didn't really happen. He's claiming to be unbeatable, impenetrable. He claims to be all powerful, and he's full of bull. He's a coward. He's a reprobate. He's a child rapist. Tries to satiate all of his greed and all the things he claims to need. And as he does so, the unavoidable aim of prophecy is straight and true. And I ask you, Negroes, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. If any of you follow me on Facebook, if any of you follow me on any of these social media platforms, which I tend to write profusely, you'll see that I stay in a state of readiness, ready to be elsewhere at all times. And I implore you Negroes to listen carefully to my rhymes. Because today, as we look deep into the abyss of the impending demise of America and its lives, we're going to surmise what might happen to catch this country by surprise. Now, I had this kind of conversation with another friend of mine, Paul, and That's where I guess I do my best work, if I decide, if I can call it that. Um, because I go a little bit more intensely into my narrative when I have conversations with some of the friends I have. And today we talked about exactly what might come about as the United States hurdles so fast toward their prophetic ending and why. And we're going to go through that today. But before I do that, please do me a favor before I forget. Please like, subscribe, and share. There seems to be a like button down there somewhere. And turn on that notification bell because I heard that don't work so well, but turn it on anyway. What the hell? Appreciate it. And thank you again for tuning in. And hopefully we might get it in. Here we go. All right, the impending demise of America. First and foremost, let's ask ourselves this. What plans are possibly being laid to bring about the freedom from this American nightmare the world seems to be living in? What are the things being done behind closed doors that we may not know about that may affect you and yours? I don't know. But I know that there's a litmus test that's been put to the rest of the world and how America deals with problems. And I'm of the mind that maybe other nations may see that and use those solutions to solve. America is led by Donald Trump, the flawless representation of what America is and what it stands for these days. A hedonist, a child rapist, a cheat, a liar, a felon, a greedy man with no good in him. This individual reflects the United States and its population nearly perfectly, almost flawlessly. And this is a country that has gone rogue while isolating itself. It's made enemies out of friends, and it's making friends out of enemies. Donald Trump went into Venezuela with a team of special forces, highly trained military, and decided not only to kidnap the president, but as I understand it, he stole or took, confiscated, if you will, $1 trillion of silver. And still he does more. Still he wants more. Still he grabs and crawls and wants it all. This is what America is. This is what America has stood for. And as the world watches in horror, as the world watches in disbelief, the world is making plans for what comes after these Americans. America was always a lie. America was always a con game. America led by con men like Donald Trump. They talk about truth, justice, and the American way. They talk about all the things they try to talk about today that involve honesty and uprightness, but they seem to have a sinister politeness. As they talk all of these lofty ideals, they go into other country and steal. They conquer. They set precedent. They make demands, ultimatums. This is what Donald Trump is now fomenting within this country. And my only thought are those who are his victims being almost perfect representations of what could be for other countries. And those other countries watching the United States carefully and trying to determine their best course of action so that they too don't yield the satisfaction of being invaded by the United States, perhaps their own country's leaders put in chains, taken to the United States to stand trial. He's pointing his direction in every direction. He's pointing his sights toward Mexico. Now he wants to bomb the Mexican country. He wants to rid them of the cartel. He's talking about going to Cuba, and he sent his ships down there, as far as I can tell. He's talking about Colombia. He wants Colombia's regime to change. He seems to be trying to play a game of let us try to rearrange. He wants to put things in perfect order so that American hegemony continues. He wants the American exceptionalism and capitalism to be the standard of this particular portion of the earth. The Monroe Doctrine has now been given a new birth. Now he wants to call it the Donroe Doctrine. Are you out of your mind? And what will the rest of the countries do? What solution will they find? Well, the American way of robbing, of oppressing, of self-enrichment is what these countries are addressing. But the facts are clear. They are a lying, thieving, conniving, murderous, reprobate country. And they refuse to punish themselves or hold themselves accountable. This action, this current circumstance, all stems from the Epstein files not getting a glance. They don't want anyone in these files. They don't want eyes on the prize. They don't want the secrets that are held within these files to be let loose. And it's my belief that Donald Trump will start World War III before he lets any of the world see the contents of these files. Now, let me just give you a little background here. I've downloaded every single one of the Epstein files. I understand how to unredact the redacted documents that are held within these files. I understand the cut and paste of the black lines and paste them into a doc, and then you'll find the words that they tried to hide, and all of the news is bad. All of the people involved are named. They've had this investigation covered up for decades. They've had the photos of the men involved in the banks and the high-profile folks with thanks who are so grateful to not be exposed. But just a little while longer, and I think it'll all show. And I think this is what Donald Trump may be running from. I think this is what is leading the way straight toward World War III. I've heard tell that there's a lot of information to sell. I understand that all of these rich and powerful men are neck up in the sexual blackmail that has been put upon them by the state of Israel. This isn't some fantasy. This is real life happening right in front of us. And isn't it interesting that as the Israel Mossad puts all these men in these compromising positions, that the state of Israel calls the number one threat to their existence black men in America? I just find that to be an oxymoronic statement. But this kind of cover up is the kind of cover up that will fuel the response toward covering it up, which is World War III. I believe that the tip of the iceberg is Donald Trump and his proclivities. And underneath the still waters of illicit conduct. You'll see powerful names and powerful men, powerful circumstances now and again. And all of this is being held together by duct tape and super glue. And at any moment, all of it can come crashing through. And the ugliness of this country will be in plain view. And dear God, when that happens, what are they going to do? The impending demise of America and its lies. Lies were told so that America could move swift and bold into the mechanisms that make it a rich and powerful nation. But it shouldn't go without our acknowledgement that some have forsaken their station. It's very, very interesting what's happening. And they refuse to hold themselves accountable for what they do behind closed doors. And instead of holding themselves accountable, they'd rather sacrifice you and yours. They would put the world in chaos before putting themselves at trial. I want you to understand what they'll do. This place may not be here for much while. Honest conversations about Donald Trump include not just his pedophilic proclivities, but him enriching himself at the expense of the American public. He is doing all that he can do to make himself as wealthy as he can be before meeting that great beyond that faces him directly. And we all see it. We all know that he's sickly. He's on his last leg. He is facing his own demise. And the only thing he thinks to do is to cover up his lies. But how will it end? How must it end? Well, as the conversation ensued today, one of friends of mine, I had a lot to say, and I talked about what might be happening behind closed doors to bring to an end this horrible circumstance that we all face. And it's not a pretty picture. It's not a pretty picture. It's not something that is spoken of out loud, not often. But the conclusion I've come to is that there is only one solution: unconditional surrender of the United States. And it seems that the rest of the world and these countries that look to the United States a direct threat may have the worst solution thought of yet. And it's a solution that was used by the United States to bring other nations to its knees. And if you entertain my surmising thought, something I would appreciate. Well, here's what's going on. It's my idea that perhaps they are waiting for an opportune time when the United States may lose its mind and begin shooting at one another. And as the Civil War took hold in the 1800s, they start shooting at their brother. And upon that cataclysmic, chaotic occurrence, they may take the advantage and let loose upon this place a barrage of nuclear detonations in the face of all that's going on and demand that the United States give its unconditional surrender and continue to bombard the cities until it does so. That's a solution that is being mulled about in quiet places and behind closed doors. And you ask yourself, well, why such an extreme move? Well, I don't think it's because they have anything to prove. I think I think the United States may have lost its usefulness. I think the United States may need to go down. I think the United States has become more of a threat being led by a criminalist clown. I mean, think about it. What they've said regarding his desire to possess Greenland is we will shoot first and ask questions later. That was the Netherlands' response. They're prepared to defend against Donald Trump and his need to have it all through violent reaction. We've got Russia that has set in motion the Black Fleet out in the Atlantic Ocean. We've got China eyeing Taiwan. They've been doing that for a while. And I got to say, I look at Xi Jinping and his knowing smile that the only way to get to Taiwan is through the United States. And in that move, the United States may have sealed its fate. We have North Korea itching for payback for the 50s. We have Iran, who seems to be going through its own consternation. I don't understand what's happening in that nation. It's an interesting turn of events. They seem to be on one in Iran. But we talk about these nations, refer to Gog and Magog in Scripture. And suddenly things start looking a little clearer and begin to get the picture. We are at the precipice. The impending demise of America will happen in 1 hour, as it's spoken in Scripture. And it seems all the solutions are turning to only one. The United States may be on its way to being done. America's teachable moment is soon to come. Devastating impacts and ultimatums may be the only way to abate them. It's well deserved. The country that has enslaved millions, murdered countless more, so that it may survive to see what else is in store, is soon to be brought to its knees by those who it intends to appease. All led by a malevolent megalomaniac, all led by the greediest example of what America can produce through its own efforts. We are in the final stages of these times. And the only thing I can tell you is that one of two things may happen. You'll either survive through your own wit, your own grit. You might get through this shit. We also look to the Most High to guide us so that we might live through it. And finally, you may end up succumbing to the bombing that might be coming. It's all up in the air at this point. But as I look and see how they are faring, it doesn't look good for the United States. It just doesn't. It seems that they are on the path toward the destruction they seem to think can never come to them. And a humbling of these creatures may be the end of them. I don't mean to bring you down, folks. I don't mean to scare you. I'm not here trying to do that. I'm just trying to make it understandable that we may have to go through that. It's a sad thing. The impending demise of America and its lies seems to be facing us squarely. Be prepared to go to ground, folks. Be prepared to leave it all behind. Be prepared to be without folks like myself and others who you may listen to, tune into, as they may decide to cut off the internet, cut off your ability to get information. Simply don't forget your holy royal station. That's the only thing that we can really do. I find it disconcerting, these kinds of thought processes, but necessary so that we understand the possibilities and understand that there may come a time when we'll wake up and see that it is on fire, which is the reason we are to reject the world's desire. I mean, that's really all I got, folks. I just wanted to kind of give you what I thought might be the final moments of American hegemony, the exceptionalism, the colonialism, the privilege. It may come to an end. So you got to keep your head on a swivel. Well, that's really all I got, folks. I just wanted to give you what my thought was on these topics. I appreciate your tuning in. It's been a good Shabbat. It's been a good day. And I leave you with no grin. You folks, I do thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. I really appreciate you listening to my rhyme. My name is Doug Rice. I am out of here. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.